Could you tell us the difference between a detainment and a arrest, and what the burden is for each, and what the officer has as powers for each?
I always laugh because this is something you have to explain to typically people who come right out of the academy, because there's the constructive part of it, and then there's the reality. Because so there's constructive detainment, even though if I make you think you're detained, most courts have ruled then you're detained. If I make you think you're under arrest, or any reasonable person would think you're under arrest, then you're effectively under arrest. Back when I was a cop, those issues typically dealt with when does Miranda kick in, when you start questioning people. Miranda's not that much of an issue anymore. We can talk about that later. But back when I was a cop, it was still Miranda was a key issue as far as when you contact me. But a detainment. Detainment means I have the right to restrict your movement in order to conduct a investigation. This court has said that the detainment can't be excessive, but it can be highly restrictive. What does that mean? It means I can put you in handcuffs. I can sit you on the curb. I can actually have you leave your vehicle, but I can't keep you for an inordinate amount of time. And even the restrainment has to be reasonable. So like if I have 5 officers and they're all, for example, all men, and they're all 6'5", and you're a 120-pound female, handcuffs may not actually, that may be a constructive arrest, at least in some situations. So the amount of officer presence, my actions have to be reasonable. If I'm alone, restraints are handcuffs are much more in line with, like our policy where I worked, than would be like if you had several officers and had what we considered a security element there in order to detain a suspect. Arrest is an arrest. It's you're no longer free to go even when I'm done, because I have now probable cause to believe that you've committed the offense of which I was investigating you. So detention based upon the investigation can turn into an arrest without anything changing. You're still in handcuffs because I was detaining you, but at some point I've decided now you're under arrest. And it's not always like the movies, but at some point you basically say, hey, look, get up off the curb. I'm taking you to jail. You're under arrest. And typically that starts a whole different system of legal obligations on the side of law enforcement.